This will be a very quick survey of some tools I recently came across. I went along to something called Google Open Source Live, which is a monthly online meeting where they talk about various different open source topics. And on this occasion in May, they're talking about security. So the security tools that are used by consumers of open source software, some tools that are used by producers of open source software, and some that are more to do with the distribution of open source software. The first one is called Security Scorecard. Now, anyone can use this. It's a free tool from the OpenSSF organization, which I haven't heard of before. OpenSSF is part of the Securing Critical Projects working group. And I'm not sure whether that's something under the Open Source Foundation or something else. But the Security Scorecard is simply a scanner that you run across your open source software, across your software, and it checks about any known vulnerabilities in the dependencies of that software and its transitive dependencies. And it gives you a score. And we'll have a look at one in a minute. And for those projects which are based on GitHub repositories, there's this all-star tool which can be built into the GitHub Actions very easily to scan a whole range of applications and give you a kind of security posture for your organization. This dev tool is something that's been provided by a Google experimental project. What it does is it gives you a very clear view of all of the dependencies that you have. Whereas some scanners just look at the declared dependencies, and things like package.json. This actually checks to see which dependencies are dragged in as a result of you building the project. And then it creates a report like this. And what they're actually doing is they are running this on a weekly basis on some 1 million open source projects and publishing the results in a Google BigQuery dataset, which you can also look at online like this. So there's a typical example. The project is called React. It's a framework for building mobile apps. Building web apps. And it's in JavaScript, ECMAScript. And so this is what it comes up with. It tells you as license, what dependencies it has, how many dependents it has. That's quite interesting as well. And some other things. And it gives you an OpenSSF security scorecard for that project as well. As you can see, this is quite varied in terms of how it's scored. It's scored about a dozen different criteria from 0 to 10. And as you can see, React is highly maintained, so it's got 10 out of 10 for that. But it doesn't provide signed releases, so it's 0 out of 10 for that. And the overall score is 6.3 is the average. So this could help you when selecting which kind of framework you want to use. If it's got a better score, you might prefer it. Salsa, this is more on the kind of distribution side. So if you've probably come across DMN, the Carnegie Mellon software engineering and utility model. And it's a similar sort of idea. It looks at what practices you're applying in building open source software. And then you get a kind of a level score. And for the first time, it provides this idea of problems, which states where all the pieces for that open source project came from. And it's much more than a digital signature. It actually provides a timestamped kind of sealable statistic. So that's something we'll probably start to see more and more software distribution mechanisms using to verify the piece of software. This is what Salsa uses for that for that provenance, you don't have to use software to use Sigstore. So there's a bunch of things there together. There's record, which is the, if you like, the unalterable record of which signatures are produced at what time by whom. And yeah, Sigstore itself is the, if you like, the protocol. I think we'll probably find tools starting to make this information accessible through the various distribution mechanisms and packaging images that are used for open source. I think that's probably the idea.